With the Pro-Ams underway, I want to take a minute to talk about my favorite players from each team over the years. This list is just my opinion and not necessarily a measure of talent. Starting off the list, we have our 2021 Alarm Rookie of the Year winner, Pelican. There's a lot that can be said about him, like how he essentially put on a masterclass performance every time he played Echo, or how his Mei was instrumental to how good the Reigns Rush comp was during this season. But honestly, Pelican has been pretty good on every single hero he's played, and I mean, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2021 for a reason, and I'm really excited to see how he plays in 2023. Next up, we have Punk. In my opinion, Punk has always been very underrated throughout his career. I don't really think he's quite on the level of Hanbin or Hawk, but Punk has always been one of the better off-tanks in the league, and I'm really excited to see him in the starting lineup of Vancouver. It'll be nice for him to not have to worry about getting benched every match. For Chengdu Hunters, I just had to go with Leave. Leave was the MVP of the league in 2021, and it's pretty easy to see why. He almost single-handedly brought his team back from the brink of defeat more times than I can even count, and the future is looking pretty bright for him since he joined the Hangzhou Spark. Dallas has had a ton of great players over the years, but my favorite is Fielder. In my opinion, he and Shu are probably the two best flex support players in the league, and if you don't believe me, just go back and watch any of his Ana, Kiriko, or BAP gameplay. His Ana and BAP in particular have always been really good, but in my opinion, his best hero is Kiriko, actually. Not only that, I really believe that he is the best Kiriko in the world, and if you need evidence to back that up, really all you have to do is just go back and watch the 2022 Grand Finals against the Shock. He put on masterclasses on that hero the entire series, and is instrumental in his team's success. For Florida, I decided to go with someone as my favorite player. Now, his personality is really fun to watch, and his tank gameplay is probably even better. This might be a bit of a hot take, but given how flexible and just overall well-rounded he is, I can see him being the best solo tank in the league in 2023. For Guangzhou, the decision was easy. My favorite player is Choi Se-won. He might not be the overall best flex DPS in the world, but he has always been pretty solid, and honestly, he's really fun to watch in all of his matches. I really liked his 5k on King's Row against the Fusion, like you're watching right now. My favorite player on the Hangzhou Spark is definitely Shy. There aren't many hit scans in the league that can bring the same amount of value to each team fight, and his flexibility is also good in his own right. He can play heroes from Sojourn to Widow to even Tracer in the league scrims. Overall, he's really fun to watch, and I can't wait to see him play next season. Oh boy, who could I possibly pick for Houston? Yeah, no, it's Dante. Dante is one of the GOATs of the league in my opinion. He is a top tier player, and his flexibility between DPS and tank is really good. He's always been super entertaining to watch, and just seems like a genuinely good guy. I really hope he succeeds on the Gladiators. For London, we're going to go all the way back to the first season. My favorite player of this time was Prophet. Who can forget how hard he deadlifted during the playoffs of 2018? And speaking of unforgettable moments from Season 1, who could forget when he unknowingly flipped off the entire Blizzard arena? Honestly, Prophet's one of the GOATs, and I really hope he succeeds this year on Seoul. When it comes to the Gladiators, my favorite player is definitely Shu. Him and Fielder are the GOATs when it comes to flex support. Shu is a flex support player that knows when he needs to heal, but also goes aggressive pretty frequently to make plays. I mean, who can forget what he did to the Shock and the Hunters on Havana to secure them the win? I mean, honestly, Shu has always been instrumental to his team's success, and I really hope he finds success on the Outlaws this year. For the Valiant, we're going to go back to Season 1 again. My favorite player is Agilities. He really was one of the brightest stars of this roster, and I really enjoyed watching him play. It was really unfortunate that he got benched as long as he did, and, well, we're all familiar with the infamous Agilities in and out scandal, and if you're not, well, I might have a video coming up on that soon, so stay tuned. But really, Agilities was a very bright star, and I really wish he was still in the league. He was a very good player and really entertaining to watch. My favorite player from NYXL is the GOAT himself, Jonak. He revolutionized the way people played flex support with his legendary Zenyatta, and honestly, he was the one who inspired me to learn how to play flex support when I first got Overwatch in 2019. He was always really fun to watch, and it's no wonder why he won the MVP in 2018. He's the GOAT, and I hope he comes back to the game soon. For the Paris/Vegas Eternal, my favorite player is Hanbin. He's probably the best tank player of all time, along with Void, and he really deserves all the credit he gets. There aren't many off-tanks that can manage to pull off the same feats as Hanbin, and honestly, he was probably the most important part of his team's success in the 2022 Summer Showdown against the Shock. For the Fusion/Infernal, I almost picked Carpe, but in the end, I went with Alarm. He really was one of the best players to ever touch the game, and it was always a joy to watch him play. He truly was a revolutionary flex support player, and just honestly seemed like a really good guy to everyone who talked about him. My favorite player from my favorite team, by the way, is definitely Super. He's a great tank player, and the man is also a content machine. There is definitely a reason why he was the face of the Overwatch League for as long as he has. The cashew will always have a special place in my heart. For the Dynasty, my favorite player is definitely Smurf. He is a great main tank player, and he's honestly just a genuinely good guy. Shanghai has no shortage of great players, but my favorite is probably the 8'9" gaming warlord himself, Lip. In my opinion, Lip is the best hitscan player in the world, and I really hope he finds success on Atlanta. The dude is mechanically insane, and his game sense and positioning are equally great. Picking a favorite player from Toronto was really difficult considering they changed their roster every single offseason, but for 2022 I really liked Hisu. He's a great hitscan player, his mechanics are very, very good, he can give even the best hitscans a run for their money, and I'm honestly pretty glad that he got a spot in the starting lineup for at least their 2022 season. And I hope that he does well on Shanghai in 2023, but that team is riddled with uncertainty. So I'm going to hope that everything goes well. I hope he has a good time. He really deserves better than what he's gotten over the years. We are once again heading back to 2019 because my favorite player from Vancouver is definitely Twilight. He was insane on the Zenyatta this season, and I highly doubt that Vancouver would have been as successful without him in their lineup. You can see very clearly that his decision making is very good and his mechanics are even better. And finally, my favorite player from Washington is Decay. So, I've always liked Decay, and I've always respected him to an extent, but that being said, I never really felt like we saw the reason why he is as hyped as he is. Like, he's always been good, he's always been solid, but I don't think we've seen his peak yet. But that being said, on a superstar roster like Boston this year, never thought I would say that in my life, but here we are. I do think we'll see just that. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.